Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Dianne Burkhart. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Hello, my happy people. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. It is Wednesday, February 15th, 2023, and I would like to welcome you to Book Banter with Dianne Burkhart. This is Season 2, and we are already off to a fantastic start. We have had some great guests so far, and there are so many more guests coming that you are going to want to check out. It's really interesting, the difference between Season 1 and Season 2. In Season 1, I was scrambling every week trying to find people to bring in an interview, but luckily I have developed enough of a following now that I actually have publicists coming to me with authors that they want on my podcast. It makes everything so much easier for me. And also, it makes it so much better for all of you because we have got some fantastic authors coming up in the future. Be sure to subscribe because you are not going to want to miss these authors. Now, today we have multi-award-winning indie author of women's fiction, C. D'Angelo. She only has 2 books out and already has a huge list of awards that she has won for these 2 books. And she is currently working on her 3rd release that is coming very soon. So let's not wait anymore. Please help me welcome author C. D'Angelo. What's really funny is almost everybody that I had on the first season of Book Banter with me were close personal friends of mine, but I've kind of run through all of them and I'm having to start to track down people I don't know. And so whenever I saw your book, The Visitor, had come out, I checked it out and it just looked fabulous. So I had to get a hold of you. Now,
Oh,
I have looked up information about you, but of course, my listeners may not know who you are. So, can you introduce yourself?
sure. And thank you so much for that really sweet introduction. I'm C. D'Angelo, and I write women's fiction that are very relatable, but always about the Italian American culture. And they're full of food, tradition, armchair travel, sometimes real travel in the books, and also lots of quirky characters.
Well, and that was one of the things that really attracted me to your book was my husband's best friend is Italian, and we have spent a lot of time in Italy with him and his family. And so
Ah.
whenever I was reading about this, I was like, "Oh, this sounds interesting. I would really like to get more into this."
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I am Italian American, and I think there's so much to say about the culture, and it's such a rich culture to explore. So the stories are endless.
And and one thing that I can definitely say, I've traveled around the world with my husband, but Italy is the one place that we have always felt so welcome everywhere we went.
I love that so much, and I felt the same when I visited. It is like they go out of their way to make you feel welcomed. It's
Oh
amazing.
yeah. Yeah, it's one of my favorite places to go.
Yes, me too.
So now you have 2 books out right now, and I was really amazed how many awards you have gotten from your first 2 books. I mean, there are not a lot of people who can say that.
Oh, thank you. I'm still semi-speechless about it. I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I am just so unbelievably honored. And, I don't write stories for that, of course, but it makes you feel like, okay, like I'm impacting people and they see the beauty in my little book babies.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's quite a motivator to just keep going with everything that you have in your head that you want to get out on paper.
Oh my gosh, I need like 100 hours a day for that to happen too.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yes.
One of the things that made me notice you was you had just posted up that you had gone to a meet and greet at a local Florida bookstore.
Yes.
How was that?
It was wonderful. Oh gosh, this store. is the cutest, coziest little store I've ever seen for a bookstore. And the owner is so sweet. She interviewed me, and then the audience could ask some questions. And then I signed books, and they bought books. And then she even has some of my books there now for purchase. So it was a really great experience, and one that I never did before. I've only done book signings. So this was just very different.
Do you ever go to any conventions?
Haven't yet. I would like to. I also have a full-time job, and so doing that and the books and trying to just have, relaxing time and everything, it's pretty challenging.
I was actually reading on your website about that. Your full-time job sounds like that would be quite time consuming.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm a mental health therapist. So not only is it, a regular 40-hour a week job, but it's pretty mentally draining. And
Hmm.
so I really value the self-care and kind of my boundaries and the things I have to do for my wellness.
Is that what your writing is for you? Is that part of your wellness plan?
I started it as that, but now I wouldn't say it's not part of the wellness, but it is more focused, goal driven. It's not a hobby anymore,
Hmm.
where it was at first. Like I have a lot of hobbies that I enjoy doing, but with having another full-time job, there's just not enough time. So I think of it as another career, really.
Hmm. Well, and your website is fantastic, very professionally done. And I have to say, I do
Hey,
like your list of hobbies. It cracked me up, the very first one on the list,
what is it? What's the first one?
playing the ukulele.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say. I don't remember which one I list first, but oh,
Well,
yeah,
I don't
I
know if
love
you
it.
caught the opening music to my podcast, but it's ukulele music.
Oh, do you play too?
No, I would love to. I used to play the violin, but I have never been able to seem to get the coordination to do anything but that. I don't know why. I've tried the
Hmm,
piano, I've tried other things, but I can't do two different things with my hands except for the violin, and I don't know why. It's very bizarre. Because I can do
that.
things like I can write in two different directions, write two different things
Whoa.
with both my hands. So you would think
Uh-huh.
I would be able to do things like play the piano or play the guitar or whatever. Can't do it.
Yeah. That
I
is, I'm in like therapist mode for a second. I'm like, where do we go with that? Yeah. But that's amazing. And also, I love that you played violin because the third book I'm working on right now, the character's a cellist. So I'm having fun with that.
Oh, nice. Now, okay, let's go ahead and go through this because we kind of skipped over this bit. What was the first book that you put out?
Okay, The Difference. That was 2021.
And give us a little synopsis of that.
Yeah, so Rachel's the main character, and she is very anxious and she's feeling lost. She's kind of bordering on mild depression at this point, and it's starting to really affect her relationships, especially with her boyfriend who she lives with. She decides that she might feel more fulfilled if she goes on an ancestry mission and tries to find the reason why her Italian immigrant grandpa never wanted to talk about his immigration. So she needs to really try to save herself and her relationship because things are going down.
So, do you pull a lot of your personal experiences from your life into the books?
That one more than any other because it's my first one and I took a long time to write it. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I was just pulling things from my life, expanding them, exaggerating them, switching them around. So there's some things in there that are like me or kind of close to my family story, but it's really not my family story and it's not me.
The reason that I was wondering was because I had seen on your website where you went to Ellis Island and saw your
Mm-hmm.
grandfather's name on the plaque there.
Mm-hmm. Now, that is true, the part where my grandpa did not want to talk about his immigration, but it was for a completely different reason than what I said in the story. And I think that was pretty common actually in their generation because they just wanted to be here and that was it. They were,
Yeah.
I'm here in America. I'm American now. That's it. I don't want to think about back then. They left for a reason. Meanwhile, all of us now are like, I want to go back.
Yeah. Did you have any connection with the first book to the second book, or is it totally separate?
No, they're totally separate. And I wanted to honor my grandpa with the first one and honor my grandma with the second one. And so they're completely different stories. I tie a section of Italy to each of my books.
Hmm.
So the first one is tied to Genoa, and the second one is tied to Sicily. Now, the third one, it's not really in honor of anyone outwardly, but there's hints of it in a loose way to honor my dad. And that's a little too painful for me to really like talk about all over the place because he's been gone a while, but it's still very hard. So anyway, this book is tied to an area near Milan. So I have fun exploring each little tie to Italy. But this third one, The Gift, that's going to be a series.
Let's see. And the second one was The Visitor. That one just came out recently, right?
Yes. Last year in June. Yep.
And what is that one about?
That is the main character is Mary, which was my grandma's name. And she owns a new age store in New Orleans that is being threatened with destruction by her nemesis high school ex boyfriend, who's now a developer. And she really needs to learn to trust and accept help from her community to try to save her building because she can't do it on her own. And she's a really independent lady that does not like accepting help.
Yeah. That was actually what drew me into this. My husband is always giving me a hard time about that. He will come in and tell me, it's
Yeah.
like, now, what do we do when your computer crashes? I ask you for help. No, what do we do when your computer crashes? It's like, yes, I know. I ask you for help. Leave me alone. I will ask you for help next
Aw.
time. And my husband's an IT professional, and he cannot understand when I don't immediately go get him whenever I'm having problems. And
Oh, that's so
he's trying to
funny.
help me with
Yeah.
that.
Oh, let me tell you, I would love to have an IT contact so that you are very lucky.
What made you decide to set the visitor in New Orleans?
Well, there's a whole part of history for Italian Americans there that I never knew about. And I think a lot of people don't really know about. So I decided that would be a story to tell and tie
Yeah, I
in
definitely do
the
not know
immigration.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And to tie in the immigration piece. Yeah, the largest lynching with Italian Americans happened there.
Oh, wow.
And it's so interesting that it's not in a lot of history books or anything like that. I mean, I never learned that in school. So it's part of our American history that we should probably learn from.
Seems like there's a lot of things that are missing from American history classes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. One of the things that I saw on your website that I think is such a cool idea is you have a map where people can mark where they have read your book.
The difference around the world.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. I love that
Thank
idea.
you. I just got another set of pictures in right before this podcast. It's just amazing to me that it keeps going. So I started the hashtag. Let me see. I released The Difference July 29th, 2021. And then I started the hashtag in September. And ever since then, every single week until probably September, October this year, I had pictures to post from people
That
every
is so
single week.
cool.
Minus, I chose to delay the week of release of The Visitor because I was like, there's too much going on with The Visitor. But yeah, and then now I still get them. I would say every few weeks, I'm still posting something. So it's just the sweetest thing that people are sharing their pictures of the book if it's on vacation or if it's just in their chair in their living room or whatever. I love it.
What's the most surprising location that you've gotten a picture from?
Oh, that is a good question. Let me see. Well, I was shocked that someone was vacationing in Turkey and sent me pictures from there. And right now, it just happened there. It's just the saddest thing. So that's on my mind. I'd say
Yeah.
Turkey, really special.
Yeah. Hopefully they got to leave Turkey before the earthquake hit.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This was May or something like that.
Okay, that's good. Lots of prayers going out for that area of the world.
Yes, yes, for sure. And there were so many beautiful pictures from there. And of course, I love the Italy ones. Well, that was, gold to me, of
Oh, yeah.
course.
What is your favorite place in Italy that you have been to?
Oh, so hard, right?
I know.
Uh, I would say Venice because it's just the most unique place I've ever seen on Earth.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
You know
We
what I mean,
actually,
then.
oh, yeah. It was
And Greece.
amazing.
I love that. And next year, my husband and I may get back to Italy and we would do Sicily and then the Amalfi Coast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the next dream of going there.
So, my husband's friend did end up getting a place in Turin. And so now
Mm,
we've gone there for weekends a couple of times to go hang out with him and his wife.
wow, what an opportunity. I love it.
Yeah, and Italy is just so amazing. I mean, because being from the United States, the country is basically very young. You don't
Mm-hmm.
see the kind of structures and architecture that you get to see when you tour places like Italy. I mean, my husband was giving me a hard time because I was taking close-up pictures of doorknobs and
Yes, I
carvings
do
in the
too.
rock. Yeah, because it's amazing. You don't, I didn't grow up with that.
No, and I actually am in Florida. So it's like St. Augustine is
Yeah.
the oldest city in the nation, but besides that, there wasn't much. It was just like swampland. So there's not those structures here, and I'm fascinated when I go to Europe.
Oh yeah. See, that's one of my favorite things about being over here is just the history
Oh, yes. I eat it up.
and how many places you can find things tied to the Medici family.
Yeah, that is
Like
true.
here in Germany, we live in Dusseldorf, and downtown you can find buildings that are tied to the Medici family.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible.
Yeah. I love history so much, and that's why I have a lot of that in my books. There's always a tie of history, and so far in all three, immigration in some way. It just fascinates me.
Now, you have done a couple of book signings. I wanted to ask you, what is your most memorable experience with a fan?
Oh my gosh, at one of the book signings, one lady came specifically to see me. Like she had been following me, on social media, and she came and said, I just wanted to meet you. It's like, what? Me? That's amazing. And so that was really special. And then actually this event that I just did at the bookstore this weekend, a bookstagrammer came and visited, and I had been chatting with her for like 3 years on Instagram,
Wow,
and she made a point to come, and so I met her. So those are two really special times.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I hugged her and I was like, I'm so excited to see you and meet you. And she's like, I'm excited to meet you. What are you talking about? That's just, what we were just talking about with the Italians. Like, that's just how I am. I am very friendly and I want to welcome you.
Yeah. Okay, this is something that I've started doing with authors. We do 5 quick questions. They're going to be very simple questions. Try not to think about them too much and just go with your gut on them. Are you ready?
Okay.
What is the first book you remember reading?
Richard Scarry's Busy Town.
Oh, I love Lily. The last book you read?
Well, does it count that I'm still reading Spare right now?
Sure.
Okay, Spare.
What is one author you always recommend to other people?
Camille Pagan. Love her in every
What's
way. She's the sweetest human and great writer.
what's a favorite title of hers that you've read?
Everything Must Go. That's her new one that I loved. Yeah. Actually, she's just releasing another one now. I can hardly keep up. But yeah, Everything Must Go.
Last one. Would you want to see a book of yours turned into a movie?
Oh, that's my ultimate dream. Honestly, I saw in my head the difference as a movie before I saw it as a book, before I started writing it. It is a movie to me. And The
TV movie
Visitor
or
could
big
be too.
screen?
Big screen is the
Okay.
difference. The Visitor could be either, but the difference is big screen. Yeah. Okay. Those were good questions. I was scared.
You have the next book that you're working on, The Gift. What is it that inspired you for this story besides your dad? I mean,
Yeah. Gosh, where did this one come from? I don't remember how this one started. It just kind of came to me. He was a musician, and so I just started thinking about a story about a musician, but also I'm in my 40s and I was thinking about a midlife crisis. And so the character is going through an early midlife crisis because she's 35. And and I love wine. And so I'm tying in the wine and how she's like, I want to open a vineyard. I want to do this, but I have no experience in it. And I'm a cellist. What do I do? So I think it's just probably like the love of music and wine. And then thinking about my dad a little bit, and he was a musician.
That is very cool. I mean, it's really interesting where ideas come from because it can be something so simple. Like you just see somebody doing something on the side of the street as you're walking, through downtown and it gives you an idea. Or it can be something that you pull from your family.
I love it. And there's this one spot when I drive to work, I always get a lot of ideas around this spot. I don't know what it is or what that means, but it's like it has to be like some kind of like energetic spot or something. I don't know.
There are ley lines converging under the road there.
Seriously, like there's something there. And every time I drive through there, that's where I get a lot of the ideas. That or when I'm listening to music.
What is your favorite kind of music to listen to when you're trying to work?
I don't listen to music when I'm working. Maybe when I'm editing, I can listen to spa type music or something
Hmm.
like that. But music really distracts me because I instantly want to sing and like dance to the beat.
So, what is your favorite kind of music, though?
Hip hop. Did you expect that?
No, actually, I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, yeah. I love hip hop and rap, R&B. Those are always my favorite.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Billie Holiday lately.
Oh, see, classic, nice.
Hmm. I've
Yeah, I
I've
mean, I love all kinds of music, honestly. Very few forms I don't like, but that's my main mode, I would say.
I've always been very eclectic in my music tastes. Like I'll listen to Green Day all day long and then all evening listen to like Mel Torme.
Exactly. Yep. When I have playlists, it's like you said, it's like it'll be Green Day and then it'll be Dr. Dre and then it'll be whatever. Yeah, exactly.
What do you see in the future for you? Like 5 years from now, what would you like to have on your website?
Oh, well, I'd love to be with a great agent, be traditionally published, and have some movie and TV rights going on. Having my books made into movies, I would love that. That's my dream.
So, are you actually an indie author?
Yeah, yeah. I started with a small press and then had to part ways and then just decided to publish on my own. So it's been wonderful, but this time I think I'm gonna try for an agent and see what happens.
Honestly, from just the way that your covers looked and the way that your website is produced, I thought you were probably with an agent and you were traditionally published.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the indie world is very different nowadays. It's a lot of quality books out there. So it was very lucky that I had that choice.
What is your pitch party prosperity that you have on your website for writers?
I used to do a lot of pitch parties. Actually, that's how I got my first contract through a pitch party on Twitter. And so I was helping other people do it. But the pitch parties have really not been as popular in the last few years as they once were. So I'm kind of debating if I hide that page on my website or what. But I figure, I don't know. I mean, if someone is interested, they could at least maybe get my book that I put together on it or something like that. But I found it very helpful, especially when you're writing query letters and just probably pitching at conferences and things like that, like just how to write a pitch and how to, write a pitch for social media, even and anything. So it's extremely helpful. And I was glad that I got involved in that so early on.
Now, have you ever thought about coming to the Frankfurt Book Messe that they have every year in October?
Are you talking about in Germany?
Yeah.
No,
You
I would
you should
love to.
definitely look this up because it is like I think is actually the largest publishing convention in the world.
Oh,
Agents
really?
are
That sounds
there, writers are there, publishing houses are there. I mean, anybody who is anybody in the writing world is at this thing. It's just an amazing event.
Wow. No, I've never even heard of it. So thank you.
Yeah, you definitely need to check that out.
Oh my gosh. And you're not that far from there, right?
No, it's like a 3 or 4 hour train ride.
Oh, that's
It's not bad.
perfect. Yeah.
I've actually been trying to con a bunch of people into coming and going together as a group one year.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Is there anything that you can think of that we have not covered that you would like the listeners to know about?
Just I've been editing like crazy, and I'd say if anyone wants to follow along in my journey and be involved, get some freebies here and there, my newsletter is the best way if you want to sign up for that. I do it usually just monthly, and it's on my website.
And there will be links to your social media and for the sign up in the description of the podcast. And it
Thank
will
you.
also appear on the website with the podcast information.
Awesome. I will definitely be sharing that, and I'll put it in my newsletter, social media, everything.
This has been fantastic. You are delightful.
Oh, thank you. You are too. You have the best voice. Right away, I was like, whoa, no wonder you do a podcast.
I actually in my 20s, I did broadcast news.
Okay. Yes, I could tell. Was that in Kansas?
Yeah. I mean, it was nationwide.
Oh, well, you definitely have a great broadcasting radio voice. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I do like doing this. This is one of the things that I started doing because I was trying to promote my own books. But then I started,
Mhm.
just having so much fun talking to people. It became more of an interview show.
Well, thank you so much. It was so much fun to talk with you. And I definitely want to like follow you and all that, stay in touch.
I am so glad you agreed to do this. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
So there you have it, my happy people. A fantastic interview with the delightful author, C. D'Angelo. If you like women's fiction, or if you just like really well written books, or Italy, or wine, or travel, go look up her information. Her links are all in the description of the podcast. Follow her, sign up for her newsletter. You are not going to regret it. Now, coming up in the next few weeks, on February 22nd, we have the author of psychological thrillers, Val Collins. I am so looking forward to this. Her books are just amazing. And the week after that, March 1st, I get to sit down and chat with a really good friend of mine. She is an artist and visual storyteller at Remember When Art. Her name is Kirsty Page, and she is just fabulous. Her artwork blows me away every time I see a new piece she has done. Her artwork is even being put on greeting cards and pillows and all kinds of housewares. You really need to check out her work. It is fantastic, and every piece has a hidden story behind it. That's the thing that makes it so fantastic and makes her a unique storyteller. And I cannot wait to have her on and be able to explain all of her work to you. So don't forget, subscribe to my podcast because season 2 promises to be amazing. And if you love books like we do, you are not going to want to miss our podcast. Until next week, it is time for you all to go forth and be happy.